Good afternoon, Raja.
Good afternoon.
So I'm Keith, and I'll be a new fitness trainer. So before we start on any physical activities, we'll be doing some assessment. Firstly, assessing your health, and then we'll be doing some fitness assessment to check your physical abilities before we proceed to planning and basically do any of the physical activity to help your physical fitness. So firstly, we'll be starting on the health screening. So there will be 5 different segments, basically a series of questions that I will ask you to assess your health. So the purpose of the health assessment is to check whether you need any medical clearance, or basically to check whether you're healthy enough to do any of the activities, any physical activities, just in case whether you have any underlying diseases or health conditions that can affect your physical activities. So firstly, for the first segment, which is the first step, is a questionnaire. So firstly, we have this physical activity readiness questionnaire for everyone. So which is basically a called PARQ. So it's basically a series of questions that I'll ask you to check on your health. So you just answer honestly. So has your doctor ever said that you have a heart condition or high blood pressure?
No.
Okay. Do you feel pain in your chest at rest during your daily activities of living, or when you do any physical activity?
No.
Okay. So do you lose balance because of dizziness, or have you lost consciousness in the past 12 months?
No.
Okay. So have you ever been diagnosed with another chronic medical condition other than heart disease or high blood pressure?
No.
Okay. So are you currently taking any prescribed medications for a chronic medical condition?
No.
Okay. So do you currently have or had within the past 12 months a bone, joint, or soft tissue which are muscle, ligament, or tendon problem that could be made worse by becoming more physically active?
No.
Okay. So lastly, has your doctor ever said that you should only do medically supervised physical activity?
No.
Okay. As you answered no for all these 7 questions, we don't need to continue this questionnaire anymore, and this questionnaire is complete. So, but before we continue, because you're under the age of 21, I will need your parents' signature for this form. So I just need you to remember to sign. Ask your guardian or parent to sign this. Oh, before this, I have to write my weakness. Yep. So you can just bring this form the next session. Okay. So now we can move on to the next segment, which is set 2. So which is to check for any specific diseases. So do you have any known cardiovascular, metabolic, or renal diseases? And I will explain to you.
Okay.
So for cardiovascular diseases, there is cardiac, peripheral, or cerebrovascular disease.
No.
Okay. So for metabolic, there are diabetes, type 1, type 2, or thyroid disorders, or any liver diseases.
No.
Okay. So lastly, for renal diseases, do you have any renal diseases?
No.
Okay. So now very good. We can move to the third step, which is to check for any signs and symptoms. So this is to check whether you have any underlying of those diseases that I mentioned just now. Basically to check the symptoms that you don't know of. So firstly is, do you have any pain or discomfort other than angina equivalent in the chest, jaw, arms, or other areas that may be due to myocardial ischemia?
Does angina means like the heart area?
Oh yeah. So angina means like the heart pain.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Very good. So do you have shortness of breath or with mouth exertion?
No.
Okay. Do you have dizziness or syncope? Syncope means temporary loss of consciousness.
No.
Don't have. Okay. So do you have autopenia or paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea? It basically means have trouble breathing when you're lying down.
No.
Right? Okay. Do you have any ankle edema? Basically, it's a swelling of ankle.
No.
Okay. So do you have any palpitation or tachycardia, which is basically your heart beating very fast.
Oh, the
Okay, do you have intermittent claudication, which is basically means whenever you exercise, your muscle there's muscle pain, but when you rest, the muscle pain disappears.
no, the
Don't have? Okay. So do you have any known heart murmurs, which is basically the sounds made by rapid blood flow?
the
Okay, don't have. So do you have any unusual fatigue or shortness of breath with usual activities?
no.
Okay, very good. So now we can move to step 4, which is just checking with you your desired intensity when exercising for our program. So there's light, moderate, and vigorous intensity. Yeah. What are you aiming to?
I think moderate to high intensity.
Oh.
Yeah, because I've been working out for quite some time already. I'm a sprinter.
Oh, okay, okay. So how long have you been working out already?
I would say about close to 1-2 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But for sprinting, I started only like last year.
Mm. Okay, so now we can move to step 5, which is basically checking that there's an algorithm.
Right.
Basically, we call it the ACSM Preparticipation Screening Algorithm,
Right.
where there's a guideline that based on the questions you answered, and they can show us the recommended physical intensity that you can do based on your medical history or your status. So I can show you from here.
Right.
So you mentioned that you participate in regular exercise, right?
Yeah.
So you're not under this. You can move to the next one.
Right.
So these are for participants who already exercise regularly. So as you mentioned, you have no cardiovascular, metabolic or renal diseases, and there are no signs and symptoms of these diseases. So this shows that based on this algorithm, this shows that you don't need any medical clearance before moving on to any physical activity,
Right.
and that you can continue your current exercise intensity that you have been regularly doing, or we can even increase the intensity as we progress.
Right.
Yep. So that's about it for our health screening. So do you have any questions before we move on?
Not really. No.
Okay, very good. So now we have checked your health and ensured that you don't need any medical clearance and you are okay to move on with physical activity. So the next thing that we'll do is to check your fitness level by doing 2 different fitness assessments, which are your posture and balance assessments. So which will be done in the next session. So I'll be sending you a list of pre-assessment procedure that you need to go through. Basically, to the day before, just ensure that you have proper diet, proper sleep, make sure to be hydrated. But I will send you this through WhatsApp, and then you just make sure to follow through during the next session.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.